Choices in video games. What are they really? And let me just give you a little story. So I have this childhood friend, his name is Dennis, and let's call him Danny for the sake of simplification. So Danny likes to play games like I do, and he likes to play on consoles. Couple of years ago, he decided to buy Nintendo Switch. And because I'm a fan of Nintendo games, he asked me which games he should buy with a console. Without a long time of thinking, I said Mario, maybe Pokemon, but for sure you gotta buy Zelda Breath of the Wild. GOAT game! And so he did. After some time, when he was playing Genshin Impact on PC, I asked him, "How's Zelda? Did you like it?" And in response I get, "Nah, this shit is so boring, I didn't even play for 2 hours." I was stunned. How can you believe it's boring when you're playing the game that literally took most of the key gameplay mechanics from Zelda? And you know what? I went deep into philosophy and psychology of this shit. Yes, I'm autistic, sue me! And let me just explain my theory and how it connected to our today's topic. Video games, at least in the current moment, do have limitations, the same way that when writing storybook you have to come up with some rules of the world you're picturing. It's impossible to create a game that doesn't have limitations. Without borders, games would have been all practically the same. Developers have to think of how to make both things go hand in hand together the right way. The simple example I would give is Baldur's Gate 3. Baldur's Gate 3 is an excellent classic RPG game that we haven't gotten in recent years. This game has a lot of options in dialogue. With different classes, races, and characteristics, options will change based off of those things, which gives a player more choices and shows that their actions will have consequences. However, because the game is classic RPG, it has a turn-based fighting system. Without this system, the game would have become action RPG. It doesn't mean that the game could have been bad if it was action RPG. Not necessarily, though it will be totally different. By becoming action RPG, it could in fact limit players' options more by giving less strategic choices. The turn-based system gives players time to think, to plan, to react, which means more meaningful decisions, not fewer. And by the way, you're probably already getting an idea that there is not just one type of choice. In my understanding, there's few types of choices, and I'm not sure if people even distinct them the way like I did, but I will not spoil you any of them. We'll go through them step by step. Let's start with comparing two games, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild and Genshin Impact. At first glance, these games are very different. One is single-player story-driven experience, the other is online gacha RPG, but they share some surprising similarities. Genshin clearly took inspiration from Breath of the Wild's systems like climbing, gliding, cooking, even parts of the UI. But despite these surface-level similarities, the way they handle player freedom couldn't be more different. Breath of the Wild gives the illusion of freedom, and then actually delivers on it. After a tutorial, which in my opinion is one of the best in gaming, you're free to go anywhere, do anything and tackle the world in any order. There are no artificial level barriers keeping you from trying something, just be creative. Genshin Impact, on the other hand, offers appearance of freedom, but it's tightly controlled. You might reach a high-level area early, but unless your characters are strong enough, there's nothing meaningful you can do there. You're guided by level gates, daily quests, and progression systems that constantly steer your path. In Breath of the Wild, I didn't even realize you could just surf on your shield until dozens of hours in, and that's what made it special. The game never told me, I discovered it, and that kind of an emergent interaction, the joy of figuring things out myself, is what real gameplay choice looks like. Genshin Impact takes you by the hand, leads you, and tells you what to do. Breath of the Wild does that at the beginning, but it's more like your mother bird feeds you and teaches you a few things so you could later fall and learn how to fly and to start your own adventure. It might sound like I'm a hater of Genshin Impact. While I'm not a huge fan of gacha games, I have my fair share of played hours in the game, so don't beat me up. I know that you fans of Genshin Impact are serious people who will fuck me up if I say any more words towards your game, so please forgive me, have a mercy. If you did not notice, what we just talked about was a gameplay choice. How we play the game, how we interact with the world, it's all a gameplay choice. And now, we could continue to talk about gameplay choices while we are at it, but let's not rush it, let it brew a little. Let's talk about some simple stuff like narrative choice. Have you ever noticed that games which give you a choice in a dialogue like Telltale games do often tell you every choice you take, every decision will matter and reshape the story? Yeah? Well, remember this shit?
Hey, yo, William.
Oh, hey. What's up, Bobby?
I need to go.
You want a gun? I mean, uh, yeah, like, why not?
Yeah. Nice, dude. Nice. Yo, dude, what the thing do?
Wait, Bobby, it's not unsafe. Damn it.
5 minutes later.
Hey, yo, William.
Yeah, hi, Bobby.
I need to go.
I don't think that you need it.
How old do you need to what here, yo? Give me the gun.
Yeah, I'm sorry, man. Nah, sorry.
Yo, dude, totally not cool. Not cool.
Wait, Bobby, is that a zombie behind you?
In reality, many of these choices eventually funnel back into the same main plot points. Characters might react differently for a scene or two, but only few decisions drastically change the ending. That's not to say the choices are meaningless. Emotionally, they do sometimes feel powerful. The illusion works because it enhances immersion, but when replaying the game, you often realize how unreal the experience really is. David Cage's games offer a bit more variance. In games like Detroit Become Human, characters can live or die and entire storylines may shift based on decisions you make. There's more branching and more potential for different endings. However, even there, many choices boil down to visible morality matters or obvious forks. And while the paths split, they still feel very altered. You are choosing between paths that were already laid out for you. At launch, Cyberpunk was a prime example of illusionary choice. Life paths barely mattered and most dialogue trees led to the same outcomes. But with the recent updates, the game has changed. Phantom Liberty in particular introduces critical decisions that affect major plot outcomes, character relationships, and even the ending you get. There are also more flexibility in how you approach missions, whether you sneak, talk, or shoot your way through. In narrative-driven games, choice isn't just about changing the ending, it's about how you feel during the experience. Do you believe your voice matters in the story? Does the game react to your decisions, even if only emotionally? Whether it's an illusion or not, when done well, narrative choice immerses you deeper into the world, and that's a powerful design tool in itself. So, are you ready for the next round? Okay, let's get back to gameplay choices, and ooh mama, we have lots of things to talk about. Gameplay choices are really rich part of the decisions you make in video games. Whenever I think about how a game changes based on the way you play it, Dishonored immediately pops up into my head. When I was a kid, I mostly loved action games, with shooters, action RPGs, just running around killing things. But at the same time I had this weird sense of morality where I wanted to save everyone. Help everyone. There are some games that really challenge you if you are a person like that, bringing you back to reality. That is just impossible to save every person like in Pathologic. But coming back to Dishonored, there are two ways you can play the game. You can kill everyone or put them to sleep. And based on the way you play the game, the world changes. See, Dishonored's world is ravaged by plague. If you go around killing people, that plague spreads faster. The streets get darker, more people will get infected and attack player. But if you put them not to eternal sleep, so spare them and take harder path, then the plague slows down, people will start to live their daily lives, everything is getting brighter. Good. This system doesn't just influence gameplay, it creates a visual representation of your choices, turning the environment itself into a reflection of your morality. The game encourages you to think about how your actions affect others, not just in terms of a gameplay rewards, but in terms of a narrative and atmosphere. Half-Life is another example of gameplay choices, but not in a traditional sense. What I love about Half-Life is that Gabe Newell and a team tried to make an FPS game in which you really are the part of the world. Yet not in a narrative way specifically, but in response to one. This game sees me, it hears me, it reacts. And that is a kind of a choice, not which path do I take, but can I do this? Will the game let me express myself? Type of a thing. In most shooters of the time, if you shot a wall, nothing happened. If you pushed an object, it didn't move. If you walk near an NPC, they said the same line, or nothing at all. Then comes Half-Life. You shoot a wall, boom, bullet hole. You throw a grenade, boo, object fly. You break a crate, items come out. You know a scientist? He says something new, maybe gets a bit annoyed.
Please, leave me alone until after the experiment.
Even though the outcome is small, the game acknowledges your action. That makes every interaction feel like your choice, not just a button press. That responsiveness creates a new kind of choice. What happens if I do this? And the answer is never silence. It's feedback. And it's freedom too. Another game I have to talk about is Prey of 2017, or just Prey, to be exact. And yeah, it's Arcane Studios. Again, if you didn't know, they created Dishonored, which we talked about previously, but yeah, what can I say? I freaking love their games, man. Prey is a masterclass in gameplay choices. It doesn't shout tutorials down your throat. It doesn't pop up windows telling you exactly what to do. Instead, it just hands you the world and says, figure it out. Like, say you need to get into a locked room. You could hack the door open, hunt down a keycard somewhere else, scroll through an air vent, or just smash a window. Build yourself a weird little staircase with a glue can, or put some boxes to climb on. This works too. Or if you got typhoon powers, shrink yourself into a coffee cup and just roll through a gap. There's also a moral choice, like whether you want to kill aliens, experiment on yourself with typhoon powers, or preserve your humanity. These choices don't just affect combat, they affect the ending, the way characters treat you, and even the station itself. Prey doesn't just appear to offer freedom, it really gives you that freedom with multiple solutions for almost every challenge. There's no correct way to play it. Stealth, combat, engineering, hacking, or alien powers are all viable, and how you play defines who you are in the world of Talos 1. And now, Outer Wilds. And listen, Outer Wilds is one of the best games I ever played, no cap. It's not about grinding, it's not about getting stronger or better, it's not even about winning or something. It's about curiosity. You wake up and the whole universe is just there, waiting for you. No quest markers, no hand holding, no go here, arrows blinking in your face. The only thing standing between you and the secrets of the cosmos is what you know. The more you learn, the bigger the world gets, not because the game unlocks new tools, but because your mind unlocks new possibilities. How'd you like that, huh? And that's kind of experience very few games will give you. But let's not talk too much about gameplay choices, because I just think that you get the idea. Next thing, let's talk about strategic choices, and if I'm being honest, there's not much to talk about. Choosing your class or race might affect the dialogues that you will get, or sometimes some games NPCs wouldn't even talk to you if you are a certain race or have a certain background. Skills will have kinda the same impact, whether it's easier for you to talk to people or get what you want or not. Yet, sometimes there are some games which give you really unique look at the typical stuff like that. Immediate example comes to mind. Disco Elysium, where many games give you choices in the dialogue that lead you to external consequences. Disco Elysium flips that on its head. Your biggest choices are internal, in what kind of a person you shape your character into. The game is built on a massive skill check system where your thoughts, ideologies, and even your mental health become part of the gameplay. Instead of just branching conversations, your skills talk to you, argue with you, deceive you, or help you see the world differently. You can believe in communism, become a racist, a nihilist, a moralist cop, a rock star, or a sorry mess of a man, and the world reacts accordingly. Your internal choices open up or even lock entire questlines, character reactions, and dialogue options, and while the core case you're solving stays the same, how you experience that case changes widely. Disco Elysium offers genuinely reactive writing where your personality, thoughts, and even your failures steer the story. It doesn't pretend to give you control over the world, it gives you control over how you exist in it. You might think, why wouldn't I just add Disco Elysium to a narrative part of choices? Because I just feel like the game is really about how your strategic choices of how you want to play the game, what you want to be in the game, influences the narrative deeply. Well, the title of this video is probably something like the illusion of choices in video games. Well, I'm not really sure still about the title. I've really been talking about the freedom that games can offer. Like I said at the beginning, all games have limitations. Boundaries are necessary to make a unique and a compelling experience. But even within those boundaries, some games manage to give us a real sense of freedom. They spark creativity and let us feel like our choices truly matter. Now, just because a game doesn't offer tons of options or meaningful decisions doesn't mean it's bad. What matters is what the game is trying to do, what kind of experience it's aiming to give you, and how well it delivers on that. Some people after a long day of work or studying might want to just sit on something comfy and play the game, which will not take much of the energy out of them by enabling their brain to work like a cogwheel solving puzzles or some of this type of stuff, just playing on auto mode. Games are awesome, and you're too. Thanks so much for watching. Let me know in the comments which game gave you a sense of freedom like no other, the kind that blew your mind. It's a deep topic. I'd love to hear what you think. Thanks again, and see you next time.